So here is our recording. It's going on, and I'm gonna start presenting this presentation. And yes, we can start.
Hello. So today we are here to present our project on distance learning at Vaasa University of Applied Sciences during the spring of 2020. Next slide. So during the spring of 2020, COVID-19 forced the school to move from classroom studies to distance studying. And with this project, we researched how VAMC succeeded at the distance teaching and learning. And during the project, we've both found both things that VAMC could succeed at, as well as things to be improved. Yeah, and so what this project wants to find out is how did the situation with COVID affect our studies, what VAMC could develop regarding distance studies for the future, and then what aspects VAMC succeeded at regarding distance studying, learning. Yeah, so this was a qualitative research, and then due to the small number of respondents, we also did some research on our own to the subject with different studies that had already been made about distance learning. And our project is only from the point of view of international students. Yeah.
All right, and I will talk a little bit about our project plan and what we have planned basically to do before we have started doing the actual project and research. So the first stage was the background of the project. Well, as you all know that in the spring of 2020, we have been on the distance learning mostly because of the corona situation, and it was a fast transition from normal going to school to staying at home and studying through Zoom. And basically now we have faced this time when we had to analyze how did it go, how did VAMC do, and what could have been developed, what was bad, and all the things basically. And second one is target groups and beneficiaries. So well, basically for who this project is targeted, well, firstly SWAMC and its students and teachers, of course, because for VAMC it's important to know, to get a feedback from how did the university do, how did it manage to cope with all the challenges that have been during the spring, and just to improve the better overall experience for students and teachers. Well, and of course teachers and students will benefit, because if VAMC overall will do a better job in doing the distance learning, everybody will be happy. And here we have a small objectives and goals for ourselves. So we have a few things we needed to get during this project. It's basically to find out what kind of things have been done by VAMC, how did they do them, and also we needed to analyze them in order to understand how it was. And of course we have asked several people from international students their opinion, and we have asked several questions from them, so that we would know how did other students feel as well. And well, also we have here expected results. So we have planned that we would ask several people, and we did, of course, and we got enough answers to get a broad picture of how has it been, what has been good, what has been bad, what could have been improved, and where did VAMC actually succeed when we were doing distance learning. And then also we have in our project plan, how did we execute the project. So basically how did we divide the parts between each other and what is going to be done basically, how we are going to be doing it. Well, mostly it was meetings in Discord because unfortunately we weren't able to meet in real life because of the corona again, because it's still here. And basically how we have done this project. And well, also is a project plan. We have created a working plan for ourselves, basically principles how we would do. And of course, we have made a project planning in a way that we have divided the whole project into parts, and we have completed each stage all together, so we could all be on the same page. And we have had several phases of the project when we were analyzing, asking people, writing the actual report, and several others. And of course, also we have the backlog of the activity. We have divided our tasks between 135 hours, and we have completed them. You can also find the detailed description of that just overall in the Word file, and as well you will find the individual times for everyone else in the Word file. And the last one is project resources and risks. Well, there are not many resources we used. It was just our brains and our computers, and as well sources on the internet. And risks, there was not much. And as we have not met in real life, there were no risks for ourselves to get sick or to get any unwanted unwanted danger. So, and also we have decided that we would be reporting and monitoring our activity every other day. So every other 3 days we've been monitoring what we have been doing. And oh, just a second, there was something about Zoom. Yes, and yeah, I guess I will continue to the next slide.
Yeah, then we needed to create this kind of theoretical framework which is supposed to act as a base for our study. And we searched information about the previous studies that have been made about the effects of COVID-19 and about the distance learning and teaching, and the results that we found was well, it was mostly the negative effects, and the negative effects were, for example, the lack of motivation and the problems with self-management when there is no structure in the like outside structuring of the schedule. So those were the main problems with the distance learning. And but also we found positive effects of the distance learning. For example, flexibility was the main thing, that you had freedom to create your own schedule, and you had the flexibility to plan your schedule and so on. And also you were forced to learn the self-management, which is very important in the future working life. This was kind of the base that created that we started our our project and our research. Yep.
Well, I'll talk about the project implementation. So, as my team said before, that the way it was planned, now it was time for us to implement it, the planning. So before it was the team was made perfectly. Because of that, it got easier for us to go according to plan. And then we set our work hour as well. The difficult part was to make questions, as it is an online platform, we are using an online platform. So for that reason, it got a bit harder for everyone to make questions. But the easier part was to set interviews, as because the students we knew, some of them is related to us. So when we asked for their opinion, they said they are okay with it, and they were really okay with it. So it was really easier for us to set the interviews, and the interviewers were really helpful, because they were if we had any problems, they some of them has told us that this question can be changed, or this can be differentiated. So it was easier in that sense as well. And by doing these things, for us, the teamwork was the main thing, and we did our work perfectly. And in my opinion, it was all right. Like, we implemented it really well. Going to the next one.
Hi, I will talk about that summary of the interview suggestion that which we take in the interview. So there is some specific suggestion from the interviewer, and there's the main suggestion, but you can also find some of the suggestion and discussion on the details in the Word document. The first one is individual consultants for students that teacher can give if some students need some consultancy or like extra guidance from that course teacher. They can provide it, so it will be much more better, which is VAM maybe already doing. Distance learning course can be added to the curriculums. Like, is the whole process is like it can be like one of the courses, like 2 credit or 3 credit courses can be added in the academic curriculum. So it might be help for who comes newcomers, or who are just start their study. And the third one is like, instead of big group task, the teacher can take a small group work in the class time. Because what is happening when giving the very big group task in online, that it's quite a challenging time to reschedule everything with the other person, because it's very difficult to scheduling with students, other teammates. So it might be a hectic. For the time being, the teachers can do one thing, that they divided work into a small group in the classroom that can solve it in right away. And the number 4th is one can provide internet or like the internet browsing in the long term for the distance learning. If it's planning that the distance learning will be affecting and continuing to the education, then VAM can provide the things, because already VAM can provide it, that the printing things and lots of things. And for that reason, and they don't get the laptops and other things, so they can provide those things at least in for the long run. So, and the number 6 should be in more practical view in online, because we are not able to travel. We are not able to visit many companies as we do in the other semester. But that semester we don't able to visit visit the company. So like, if it's possible that they can give us a more practical view in the online, that will be might be a good option. And then our last one is the like it should be like instruction from the teachers. It should be made very good and constructive, because some of the courses are very unclear for some of the students. And so like when they are planning the courses, that like they make sure that they will understand everything everything that students can help. So that's all, overall the overview and overall the interview suggestion. But overall they did very well, I think so, in BUMC in this spring semester.
So to conclude,
Okay.
yeah, according to the answer that our group has collected from the interviews with BAM's international students who were experienced the whole period of distant learning during the pandemic in spring, we found that most students have been facing the same challenges, which are being unmotivated in their study. And some of them felt confused about using new techniques and how to access to the study resources. Besides, students think that they have been experienced loose connections with teachers and their group mates. So what's more, it seems like most of them feel the online exams are somehow unfair. From that, our group has considered those problems and came up with such thorough solutions plans with the aim of improving learning experience for students. However, when taking BAM's actions and organizations, it is apparent that they have been putting lots of efforts and doing pretty good. And overall, we hope BAM would consider and make good use of our research for its further development.
And as a postscriptum here in our presentation, we have a section about the project assessment. And well, the first one here, as we have recognized, it's that when we have been already halfway in, we realized that we had a lack of the project goals for the project in the beginning. So it was a bit difficult to understand whether we were like really succeeding or like we were a little bit behind, because in the beginning we didn't set the proper goals. So it was a little bit of mistake of ours, but it was a bit too late to do anything about it, so we had to adapt. Then it also have Siam has mentioned, we had some problems with questions and answers for them, because in the beginning when we have created the answers, we didn't understand like how does they work. And when we actually had been interviewing people, we have realized that and actually also even some people, as also CM mentioned, have said to us that they're not descriptive enough and they're not allowing people to give a detailed or a big answer. So they were just pointed to that point that they could answer like rather yes or no. So it was also a bit of a mistake from us. And well, also we have worked in a group quite well, and we have decided to work via communicating with WhatsApp and Discord. So we have been having our meetings in Discord, and we have been planning most of our things in WhatsApp, so it was quite comfortable. And also for creating the word plan and everything else, and also this presentation, we have been using Microsoft Office 365, which is provided by BAMC. And as well as I have mentioned earlier, there are individual hours for all the group members, which have been filled individually by all of us, and you can find them almost in the end of the Word file. Sorry, and I guess that this is it. Here we have our references, and you can find more about the project and everything else about this in our Word file, which we will submit later. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are ending our recording here.